a knocking comes to call. Become a scary story among the harvest spirits past, of tricks and treats cycles complete to tell their tale at last. Welcome to the encore of Scary Stories to Become in the Dark, a very Vector Halloween adventure. I'm Mother Multiverse, and with me tonight is well, you can intro yourselves.
Hi, I'm Kai.
And I'm Mike.
And we're being brought to you from the Sanctuary for Wayward Geeks from Wayward Geeks. That'd be weird.
That'd be
We're not
somebody else.
protecting anyone from geeks, like that's us. So anyhow, for those who missed our last show, I'd love to just kind of bring up a few things. For one, apparently, we have some. If you're listening right now, there should be the mild crackle of some sort of campfire in the background. Obviously, our voices. And that should be pretty much it for what you're experiencing auditory-wise. The last time, however, apparently we had some mysterious music and voices, barely heard voices. That was not intentional. The source may be mundane or otherwise, but it was a little spooky to hear that, and we're hoping to do some spooky storytelling tonight. So, this game is kind of described as a virtual seance, and it's a Vector adventure. Now, Vector Attack of the Meta Pirates comes with a warning, which I will read, but this is Scary Stories That Come in the Dark, which has a spooky double warning. So, I'm going to have to read that as well. Now, this game, this specific game, Scary Stories That Become in the Dark, is a game masterless game where we will be trying to channel fictional spirits and try to have their stories told. It'll make more sense as we go, but the thing is that if you are listening and you want, if you talk in the chat and type, at some point we're going to have characters that we'll be coming up with, and you will also be able to play along a little bit at home if you like. We will draw a character for you at that time. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start reading you these warnings because we are going to have to get through these. So, first part, warning, the document you're reading is not a holiday adventure, but a memetic virus. Upon playing this game, you may never be the same. Vector and the Meta Pirates may spread their influence into not only one game, but many, and should they not be contained or halted, may even irrevocably alter you and your players. You have been warned. Spooky double warning. The original Vector Attack of the Meta Pirates adventures purposely avoided active occult elements such as spirits, ghosts, divination, etc. This one doesn't. The spirits of the errata are active, and engagement with them should be taken as seriously as any Ouija board ceremony in a horror film. By following the even spookier columns, you'll be engaging it even further. You have been warned. Now, the last time we did this, we did in fact follow all the even spookier columns that we could, and I think we had a pretty good time with that. I think that worked out pretty well. Would everybody agree with that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
do we have any questions?
No questions yet.
Okay.
We have a hello from, I'm hoping I'm saying this right, Kino CPT. Josie,
Okay.
Sanctuary for Wayward Geeks, says hello as well, and JD the Tree has popped in because I asked, how does it sound? And JD the Tree and Kino both said, it sounds great. So,
Oh, good.
we're doing good, and I can answer questions live now instead of having to relay them to you.
Yes, which is nice.
yeah.
Which is nice. So, we're gonna start off here. Well, we've already started off. We've read the warning. That's important for those who've missed it. I tried. So, at this point, we're going to read a letter from Captain Vector. To those who find this document, every Halloween in the realms of role-playing, two terrible things happen. The first is a game master filled with reckless ambition takes a tone shift towards horror in their game and finds their campaign murdered at the hands of their own dark urges. The second is the biggest and sloppiest role-playing event on the planet goes down. For a short while, everyone plays a character, everyone is someone else, and just as quickly those half-formed, half-performed, shallow entities are discarded as if they never were. Shades. Most of them are driven by little more than a will to consume. Knock knock, who's there? And if you're not in costume or you don't feed them, who knows what might happen. Tonight, we have gathered to put those shades to rest, or bring them fully to life. Should you worry of summoning up spirits you cannot control, close this document now. But for those who are brave, please, gather up your courage and your friends, for a game of stories come to life. Yours truly, Captain Vector. So, for this game has no game master. Like I said, virtual seance, and it uses the tiles of the errata divination system, which I have in front of me, and I will be able to turn them over and kind of read off what's going on with them as we go. Now, first here, we gotta start off this seance bit. If anybody wants to say it at home, let's see here. I can throw it up. Can make this available to people in the chat shortly. But so yeah, we'll start off with our little chant here. So, hear us now, shades of yesteryear, costumes of Halloween past. We call you here again. We call you into flesh. We call you into life. If you can hear us, knock 3 times. And if they cannot, please knock for them 3 times. So, So at this point, all the errata tiles have been put face down, and we are doing fast play rules because the first part of the seance is a kind of guess who game that just doesn't work well on an online format. So instead, we're just going to draw tiles for everybody. So first, and I'm just going with the order we are in the chat. First, I'm going to draw for Kai. Okay, so Kai, your tile for this one is the warrior, the snake. So you have to make some sort of fighty person.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yep. All right. So, yeah.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, Kino is Charlie. So.
Oh.
Now you know.
Okay. Hi. So, next. Oh wait, who was I drawing for? I think I was drawing for Mike, and I drew the butterfly, which is put as the fairy tale prince or princess. So however you want to spin that, you know. Now for me, I have drawn the worm, which is the historical costume, so I'm going to have to come up with another historical character. Yeah, so each time this game goes a little differently. So we get our characters. Now, is there anybody in the chat who wants a character drawn from them at this time?
Nobody has said anything yet.
Okay.
But we can give them a little bit, I think.
Yeah, we can give them a moment.
I wanted to ask, so with the historical character, does it have to be like somebody who's actually like somebody from history, or is it just here's a vague description of some time period person?
It's a bit more period piece person. Okay. Like one game. So we've played this several of times now, and it feels like it's gotten better every single game. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
And one of the games I drew this exact same piece, and I played a lighthouse keeper, and I did her story of working alone over several months, and at some point, some strange otherworldly creature, uh, well, yeah, she has an encounter with them. It does not go well. Um, like in a horror story, which is how this game usually kind of goes. It's towards some kind of story, usually a scary story. Sometimes a really funny story, sometimes a bit of both. It's been different pretty much every time. So, yeah, there's definitely always room once you have your character to customize. Um, so, looking down to our even spookier section. So, with even spookier for this section, it's if you wish to take this a step further using the errata tiles, perform this short invocation before the ascension to better allow the spirits to work through you. So, we last time, and the game I've done before that, everybody's decided to go even spookier. So I will start this off. The text could be made available in the chat. And so I'm going to start with mine. So, yeah. I offer myself as a vessel to the worm that I may bring it to ascension. May my words be their words. May my choices be their choices. May I act as a channel to the worm that their story be recognized and told. So, who's next, if you're comfortable?
I offer myself as a vessel to the butterfly, that I may bring it to ascension. May my words be their words. May my choices be their choices. May I act as a channel to the butterfly, that their story be recognized and told.
I offer myself as a vessel to the snake, that I may bring it to ascension. May my words be their words, may my choices be their choices. May I act as a channel to the snake, that their story be recognized and told.
Excellent. Does anybody want a character at this point, or are we good for the moment here?
Seems that we are good so far.
Okay. So at this point, I'm going to get these tiles kind of re-scrambled. Make sure that we don't really know where they are. But essentially at this point is, okay, in the Ascension, we go from where we've had these spirits, we've been selected, or they've selected us, or we've selected them. Maybe a little of both. And at that point, kind of the deal is that in the Ascension phase, we go ahead, we give this character a name, and we can change our details a little bit. But by giving them a name, we start to get a little bit of an idea of who they are, give them a little bit of personality. Now, I've got a historical costume again. I'm not going to go ahead and be another lighthouse keeper. That seems somehow, it'd be repetitious. I might have to take a moment to think of mine. So if either of you have an idea or want to say what your name is or what you're doing, feel free.
I've got a name, but that's about all I've got.
So what kind of you've got a name, but you don't really know what you're. Well, I mean, you can start with just the name, and the next phase will kind of help you to define the character out.
True. I mean, it's an ominous enough name. It's pointing the kind of direction we're going with this particular fairy tale prince. But I've got. The title is "The Prince Beneath the Stone."
Cool. Okay, that's interesting already.
It could be any stone.
It could be.
It could literally be a pebble. You don't know for sure.
Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not a pebble.
It is not a terrifying elemental about to drag you underground.
I don't know.
Unless it is.
Brave son of the Ant Queen. You never know.
Yeah.
I think I've got my name for my character, but I'm still working on other stuff. I'm going to be Wagner Bloodaxe.
Wagner Bloodaxe. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of about this name.
Do you see that spelled with a W and pronounced that way, or do you see it just flat out? No, it's a V.
I think it's spelled with a W and pronounced that way.
Okay.
So it looks like Wagner, but it's Wagner.
But it's the Wagner. Okay.
Yeah. Of course, now I'm like, oh, I should just throw a bunch of like extra letters in or something, or like. So it's actually like WAUGNAERX.
All consonants.
With enough umlauts, they just all silent.
It's umlauts in French, it's fine.
Oh goodness. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely. That's a random bit of inspiration, so I'm gonna go with it. So what is the name of somebody who what's the name of people who made like wagon wheels and things like that? Is anybody with more historical sense?
I want to say Wainwright or something. I might have made that up.
I thought it was Wagoner, funny enough, but I'm gonna double check.
Okay. Well, whatever that is, I'm going to be a person who crafted wagons.
I mean, I suppose it could also be a wheeler, but that's a bit.
Yeah. It's a little on the nose.
You are in fact correct. It is a Wainwright.
Wainwright.
WRIGHT.
All right.
Or cartwright is a tradesperson skilled in the making and repairing of wagons and carts.
All right, so obviously the most like straightforward possible name for this character is going to be Carter Wainwright.
I love it.
I'm gonna go with that because it's a little bit punny, and or their parents are just terrible. Like you can use your imagination. You don't know which. So, as far as the ascension goes. So now that we've all got our manifested spirit, we know the one that we're going to be channeling. So all of the tiles are set up kind of like doors, and each of us will take turns revealing tiles. Now, before we take a turn and reveal a tile, we knock 3 times, and then we say trick or treat, and we turn the tile over. And it's kind of, like I said, it opens kind of like a door. Now, each of these tiles corresponds with a different archetype or a different kind of question that the tile will ask us. And so as these questions are asked, it'll help us to define our story. This portion of the game does work best if you try to stay in character the entire time. So, I will be trying to stay in Carter Wainwright's mind.
I'm just going to pop in and say Kino also said Wainwright is correct. So, Kino knows their archaic professions.
I know archaic professions have some of the best names. Like, is it when you make barrels, you're a cooper?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Don't know why I love that, but I do, because I'm just kind of like, your entire existence was around barrel making. We were the best barrel makers. We made barrels like you wouldn't believe, and I'm just like, that, man. I don't know. That just says something to me.
I will say, like, one of my favorite things is how, like, so many old professions are now just last names for people. Like, things like, Wheeler or Wagoner or Wainwright. Like, I was thinking, oh, Rufus Wainwright, right?
Yeah.
Like, here we go. Okay. So, there you go.
All right.
And then there's
So
me coming along with my weird spellings, so
Hmm?
So there's me coming along with my weird spellings.
Wagner Bludax.
I spelled it WAUGNAR Wagner.
This is totally like now a
Bludax.
character from some like 90s SNES game.
Probably,
Yeah,
Oh my god, it's like
yeah.
the generic baseball characters from that one game. Yeah.
All right. Well, if nobody's playing along at home at this point, then the only thing to really do is to knock on the table and kick over some well, knock and ask for some trick or treat. So who's feeling like going first? If not, I will. I'm fine with doing it.
I can go first, because why not?
Okay. Go for it.
Alright. Trick or treat.
Okay. The first thing we got here is the elk. The elk's question is: mine is the realm of all those fallen to avarice. When did greed first harm you, directly or indirectly?
I'm thinking, just so you know. I'm still here. Okay.
I assume so, Wagner.
Yes. Okay. So, first time succumbing to greed was probably my first hunt. I went out. I was just a young thing then. I went out with my father and I reveled in it. I thought it was the most incredible feeling in the world, and that was, I don't know, I guess I got greedy with it, where I couldn't stop.
Ooh.
That's
Alright.
it.
Yeah, fair enough. So next, I think we'll just go in the order we are here. So
Okay.
I'll go. Trick or treat. And I drew the worm. Same character I got before. Feels as if I'm being told something. Those who forget their history. This is the worm. Those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it. What event from before you were born still sets and drives your destiny? Well, oddly enough, at some point, my father's father had decided to become a Wainwright. And thus, I have come from a family that has pretty much preferred this specific career path. And we have been making wheels for wagons and wagons in general for several generations. That's it. All right. Next, we've
goes
got
to me.
oh god, the Prince Under the Stone. Is that what it is?
Beneath.
Beneath, the Prince Beneath the Stone.
All right.
Apologies, Your Lordship.
Quite fine, quite fine. Trick or treat.
All right, the fishing hook. And the fishing hook says, every story needs a good hook. What happened in your childhood to make you into who you are now?
I was not the firstborn, as it happens. There was another before me. But Hmm. It was upon my older brother becoming ill and passing away that I became the heir to the throne. Not that that matters when you know your parents aren't ever going to give up the throne, but it does mean a slight difference in the deference given. I went from being nothing to being the most precious bauble in the court.
That does sound like a step up.
Indeed.
Wagner.
Trick or treat.
The Seeing Orb. For some, the future is already set in stone. What fortune or portent hangs over your head?
So, what hangs over my head? I was foolish once, or maybe many times, and I once boasted that I could out-hunt the wild hunt.
Oh no.
That was a mistake. Because of course if you say that loud enough, they hear you. And I just received a warning that day. We'll be back. And that's it.
Trick or treat. I've pulled the UFO. And the UFO says, the multiverse is vast, but there's always somewhere we must call home. Where do you come from? So, historical. Definitely calling upon one of my weaker things. I'm gonna guess I come from some place in Britain that ends in Shire. I don't know. Does anybody got a good one?
Devonshire.
Devonshire. Sure, I come from over there. And honestly, speaking of the fact that I do the same trade that my father did and my grandfather did, and that's where our shop is, we haven't really moved from there. So I am, in fact, still in Devonshire, and I still call Devonshire home. Do we have anything in the chat that we need to address, or are we pretty good?
Not yet.
Okay. Then we will continue on to hear more from the Prince Beneath the Stone.
Trick or treat.
The Hungry Frog. We're not ourselves when hungry and desperate. When did you feel most desperate, and what did you do to escape that feeling?
The court had gone out. hunting expedition, my mother's idea, but I was full of ennui and such, as one gets, and so rode off by myself. Melancholy, as happens, and was gazing at the stars and so on and so forth when I suddenly realized not only had I lost my way, but I wouldn't actually be able to get back. I'd somehow stumbled into, well, what appeared to be a trap. Someone was trying to keep me there.
How did you escape from this predicament, your lordship?
Well, I don't like to admit having to debase myself, but the clever captor had 2 children, and they came up to me, found my appearance a bit of a curiosity. I was able to persuade them to move the iron so that I could get away, but before I did so, they extracted from me a promise. 1 wish each. And they specified that it was not allowed to turn bad on them by my hand.
Ooh.
Indeed, you understand.
All right then. Good to know. Wagner.
I'm now starting to wonder if this is going to turn into a somewhat otherworldly game.
I'm kind of wondering that myself. Honestly, I'm starting to think that we would make a really excellent, strange, like D&D party. Just one you wouldn't expect.
I mean, isn't that most D&D parties? Let's face it.
Exactly. Yeah, this seems like some otherworldly stuff's gonna go down. Maybe we will try mixing our stories together at the end. That could be all sorts of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Trick or treat.
All right. So we have drawn the snake. I am a spirit of challenge. Speak of a time you have overcome great adversity.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, my favorite pastime is hunting. And I'm debating whether my biggest challenge was fighting and winning against a humongous grizzly bear. Huge. Honestly, it was scarred up. It had lived a long time. I don't know to this day how I walked away from that fight. Alternatively, there was that time that I managed to outwit another hunter and steal his whole week's worth, at least. Well, I guess it wasn't stealing, but, it wasn't rightfully mine, but I tricked him out of it. But it was a whole week's worth of fresh food that he had gathered. And I told him a lovely little story, and he seemed to think that I was poorer off than he, so he gave me everything.
That does sound like the difference between a victory by strength and a victory by cleverness. So trick or treat. The mine.
Dun dun dun.
The mine says the ghost of the past will always come back to haunt you. What secret do you desperately work to keep hidden from others?
You're adopted.
No.
Oh, cool.
That's good. That's not exactly it. Although that is pretty close to what I'm thinking. It's just it's a little worse. So Carter Wainwright, the original Carter Wainwright, had left many years ago to basically be apprenticed when they were young, like a child. I happened to meet them, know them, and they died an early death, as often happens in life. And well, I knew enough about them and looked enough like them that I thought, perhaps it would be better that I go there and inherit what they would have. And oddly enough, when I said, "Oh yes, I'm Carter," and it had already been 10 years, well, everyone was very ready to believe it. So, I can't ever let anyone know that, or I would quite literally lose everything. Very likely including my life.
Of course, that begs the question, why are you telling us?
Well,
The demands of the tiles.
I guess.
It's a little different in this kind of situation, I would say.
So, can I just say, I'm now imagining in my head, it's these three characters sitting around a bar, like a table at a tavern, drinking, and for whatever reason, somebody found these tiles in this game, and they're playing it at this tavern, telling their stories of woe.
All right. So you just heard it here, folks. Kai just basically invented the next game of this, so
Dear.
Super meta.
It's super meta, but it's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of a game I heard of once. But still, here we are, telling our tales. Whether we want to or not. So, Prince, Beneath the Stone.
Yeah, that does bring it to me, doesn't it? Let's see. Trick or treat.
The Fast Rabbit. Every story needs a good sidekick. Who is your closest friend and ally?
Hmm. So the two children mentioned earlier, they each had a different wish. The boy asked of all things to enter into my service. And he remains to this day loyal. Of course, due to the nature of the wish, he is not as bound as one of our more typical servants would be. So, on one hand, I don't know if I can trust him. I mean, he knows things about me and mine that no one else does. And I often wonder exactly what it is that he's planning. But, I mean, I say that in my dark moments, but let's face it, in the end, he is just a mortal, and I am the sort of person that would overlook someone who's just a mortal. No offense, Wainwright. Or Blood Ox, for that matter, I don't actually know. But he has, throughout the years, been a most loyal companion.
It's good to have people you can trust. Sounds
Indeed.
refreshing. So, Wagner, I believe that brings it back around to you.
Trick or treat.
The Claw. A hero is only as good as his or her or their antithesis. Who in this life do you claim as your enemy? I'm going to be honest. If you were to say Carter Wainwright, I would be very afraid.
Given that I've just met you, you're not my mortal enemy. So, I am from a place called the Rosewood. And as clever as I am, and as strong as I am, there's only one that can match me in the whole of the Rosewood. But I dare not speak their name. Because honestly, I don't want to see this tavern burn to the ground. But we've been diametrically opposed for I don't even know how long. I realize you mentioned something about being immortal or immortal, and now that you mention it, I'm not actually sure how old I am. 'Cause,
That can happen with time.
yes. Once the Wild Hunt promises to come back for you, they're the only thing that can come back for you. And my enemy, the one who I will not speak of, his name, at any rate, their name, was the one that put that curse on me. Occasionally I see them out of the corner of my eye, in the shadows, as I'm nodding off to sleep, and I hear a rustling, and I look, and there's nothing there, but I know that it's them. I know they're there.
Trick or treat. The mask. To die for one's ideals is easy. To kill, also easy. What thing are you willing to kill for? I'm willing to kill to keep my secret. It's as simple as that. Like I said, I'll lose everything. So at that point, it's pretty much my life or theirs.
That certainly seems reasonable. Did you have more?
Oh no, that's it. I mean, I could say I would kill for other things, but I'm not a very ambitious person. I've got my life. My life is comfortable. It is relatively honest work, but rewarding work. And as long as I can continue to live my life in relative quiet and dignity, I have no quarrel with anyone else.
You make the wheels, and the wheels keep rolling.
Pretty much.
Trick or treat.
The nice restaurant. A character of note must be one of noteworthy ambitions. What do you aspire to achieve within your lifetime?
I imagine this might sound a bit passé. I would never say it in court. Can only imagine the eons I would be laughed at if the people knew. And given how disastrously it's gone every single time, it's probably hopeless. But love. I'm not going to undignified by using the phrase true love. That's a bit out of bounds for me, perhaps. But actually to love and be loved. For even a day.
What makes you think that you're not loved?
Oh. There have been attempts.
Attempts to love you? Or for you to love someone else?
Both the attempts to find someone, or even times when I've been the one pursued, it tends to end very, very badly.
A part of me wants to keep pressing this issue, but a part of me knows better than to do that.
Admittedly, there's like 3 or 4 different ways I could take this, and I'm not actually sure which one I would want to take.
Has there been any noteworthy chat activity?
Nope, just people watching us,
Okay.
hanging out.
Cool. Well, just let people know.
But
yeah, if you're enjoying the stories and things, if you want to join in to some degree, we can draw you a tile. We have moved through most of the tiles for this section. We can draw you a tile so you can get your own little character cooking home, and you can play along with us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll probably have to recycle a few tiles, but that's okay because there's a possibility that'll happen anyway. Because we're going even spookier this game.
Spooky.
Yeah. All right. So Wagner.
All right.
Let's continue your story.
Before Wagner continues, Josie just said, just listening to the awkward love triangle that's brewing. Nah, this is, yeah, I'm like, well, you know, I didn't notice
How
that.
much drink was at this bar?
I'm guessing we've been sitting here for a while, talking
It's
before we finally decided to crack open the tiles and. It's just like a Ouija board, just a harmless game, right? What's the worst that could
it's
happen?
just a harmless game. Nothing bad is going to happen.
Exactly.
That's right, everyone at home. It's harmless.
Completely harmless. Alright. Well, I'll go next.
Alright.
Trick or treat.
Fancy hat. And
Oh no!
Yes! I'm like, oh, we haven't even seen him yet. Like, what? What kind of a game is this?
Sooner or later, there's always
calm down. It's all fine. So here we are again, friends. A pirate and their worthy crew. Our foes, it's always in flux. So I would like to ask, when we first met, what did you think of old Captain Vector? And since we're at a table, how about each of you? Go right ahead and tell me. I'm actually curious this time. We're all such different people, after all.
Out of character, the sexual attention has just massively increased.
You're about to make an old pirate blush. Or a young pirate, really today.
Yeah.
So, please, Fogner, what do you think?
This is my first time meeting you, I believe. I haven't really been anywhere near an ocean before, so I haven't actually met a pirate. I appreciate the color you're wearing. It's one of my favorite colors, if you couldn't tell by my last name. I live up.
Sounds like
it's more of a title than a last name, honestly. But
it's good, strong.
Nah. Otherwise, I feel like you're charming. You're very charming. I feel like you get what you want.
Sometimes.
But I feel
You'd be surprised.
I feel like I could beat you in a hunting match.
I'm sure you could. Perhaps one day, if I were to be called the Meta Hunter, that would be a thing I do. But for the most part, I'm just going to let you have it. You're a better hunter than me. I believe in you. So, also, the Prince Beneath the Stone. What a name. What a title.
Indeed. I suppose it is.
So tell me.
What did... That was the first... Oh, yes. Upon our first meeting, what did I think?
Yes.
Well, to be...
I'm not giving any of it back. I'm just saying...
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. And honestly, it is endlessly amusing to watch my father occasionally fume that all three of the stars are gone out of the sky. But to be honest, back when we first met, that first time, I mean, I was a scared child, away from home for the first time, among many, many strangers. And yet, there you were, like, in this dark time of childhood need. In some ways, I would say it was the best summer of my life up to then.
Oh, yes. The camp.
Yes.
That was an embarrassing moment. Could we move on? Let's go to the Carter. Wainwright. What? Come now. I'm Captain Vector, blah blah blah. When we first met, what did you think of me? Who are you? I'm Captain Vector. I am a meta pirate. I'm very famous. You've probably heard of me. No? Well, I suppose that is a drawback of being a historically and inspired character, because story-inspired characters are boring. Okay, I feel awkward. Thank you for entertaining me. I'm gonna go now. Enjoy the rest of your game, unless I come back at some point, which I probably won't.
Before you
Yes.
go, you're not always a pirate, are you?
Oh, you've caught on to that.
Yes. And he narrows his eyes just a bit.
You see, at some time, I just have a desperate need to be noticed. And well, when that happens, every once in a while, I might just decide to step in somewhere. I mean, yes. Generally speaking, I am at my most comfortable and my most self when I am but a pirate wearing red in whatever body I happen to have at the time. There, saying who I am, in a world of fantastical chance, of clattering dice that somehow change reality. That is my comfort zone. But, if I get bored, I might just hop into a movie or maybe a book. Maybe even a character who you'd never suspect was me. I might just look you in the eye from the screen, and that's your one little chance to know I was there. But it's a bad habit. It's not something I condone done before. I mostly feel ashamed. Just every once in a while. Only it's a delicate subject. Not something I'm super comfortable with. But I mean, if you believe we've met before, it's entirely possible. I've been many things, many places.
I feel that you would know better than I, but I'm going to leave it be for now.
Well, back now, blood. I wish you the best of luck in the descent. After all, you are a very mighty hunter, and who knows what might arrive. Ta-ta.
Farewell.
Well, that guy's a character.
Literally.
So it seems.
Gonna have to just take a moment. I am playing Carter Wainwright. I am Carter Wainwright, yes. And that's the thing I'm doing right now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Yes. You're playing Carter Wainwright. And also Carter Wainwright is playing Carter Wainwright.
Yes, Carter Wainwright is, in fact, right here, right now. Is it my turn for the tile?
Yes.
Thank you. I was losing track. Trick or treat. I got the butterfly.
How lovely.
The butterfly says, we all have dreams. What does your happily ever after look like? Okay, so I'm not a very ambitious person. Like I've said, I'm content to just live as Carter Wainwright for the rest of my life, inherit the business, do good work, and just generally continue on. But there is a part of me that is lonely, and I just want the usual things. I would like to marry well, have some children, and then my children could inherit what I have inherited, and then it'll all just continue on, and it'll be fine. There won't be a problem. I just need to marry well, and everyone will be happy. Yes, that seems for the best. That's all. It's very simple. Love seems good too, but I'm okay with it just mostly being a formal, yet, satisfactory. I don't want
Tolerable.
someone I'm gonna hate. Yes, I want to be with somebody who it's like, oh, cool, and we can, we'll be happy to see each other every day, not angry and in different rooms. So yes, that's all I really want. Just a little bit of love and maybe a little bit of legacy. That's it. Well, I'm done. Prince Beneath the Stone. We have 3 more tiles to go.
All right. No way out but through. Trick or treat.
The Reaper.
Oh.
I await the end of all stories. When was the first time death took someone from you?
I was. Well, numbers don't quite matter this in the same way. I was a child. She was about 9, I would say. Looked similar. She had gotten lost in the woods. I had snuck out again. It was easier. Everyone was fawning over my brother in those days. I told her not to cry and that I would get her home. Several hours later, just at the crack of dawn, we made it out of the woods. She said thank you. She kissed me. I was about to say something back to her, and she turned into a bunch of flower petals and blew away. It was because of the kiss, I think. That was the first failure.
Can see why you're very cautious about that.
Have you not been kissed since then?
Oh, kisses, yes. All sorts of kisses. All sorts of other things. But, I think it was one of the closest I had ever gotten to they and I, well, having love. And every time it gets close to that is when things go wrong. I mean, prostitutes, that's something entirely different. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but I've been drinking a bit.
I
mean, there's no shame in it.
It's a profession.
Exactly.
Indeed. Exactly.
Fascinating. Well, I suppose it's my turn. Trick or treat.
We have drawn Chomper, and Chomper says, heroism is defined by self-sacrifice. What thing are you willing to die?
Well, I don't have family. I don't have any loved ones. But I guess the only way I can conceive of dying is in battle. Honorably, or not so honorably. I'm not sure on that yet. I haven't really thought about dying a whole lot, to be fair. I usually don't need to worry about that. But I suppose that would be what I'd be willing to die for, is a good fight.
Sounds violent.
Did you not notice my name?
I mean, I'm not saying I did not, sir. I'm just saying that...
Slams big bloody battle axe on the table. Did you not realize?
For the love of... Don't scatter the tiles!
Oh, fair. I'm sorry. We're so close to the next part of the game, I don't want to mess it up now.
Yeah, we're pretty close now. It's the last tile.
Oh, so it is.
Trick or treat. Oh, goodness. It is the extra life, which asks the question. Ooh, it's going to be a rough one. Well then, every character has a piece of its creator within it by necessity. How are you like the person you've possessed? Well, we both are... This is a very hard question, actually. We're pretty different people. I'm willing to do some things they wouldn't be willing to do, and they're willing to do some things I wouldn't be willing to do. They're definitely more ambitious than me. And
You keep saying that you're not ambitious, but you build wagons. That's ambitious to me, at any rate.
well, yes, but I know how to build wagons.
Why wouldn't that be ambitious, though?
What ambition do I have? I do not seek to build the greatest wagon. I do not seek to become immensely wealthy. I don't need very much in this world, and perhaps that's something we share a bit in common. Neither of us are particularly into things. As far as possessions, we're not extremely materialists.
Okay. Other than this one.
Yeah, well. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, what I want is a somewhat simple, reasonable life to make a living at. Not seeking to be, the top of things. I'm not seeking to achieve great wealth or fame, just to live with a certain amount of dignity and perhaps survive to a reasonable age and leave something to any heirs I might have, and that's it. Now, have I perhaps used very dubious means to get there? Certainly. And would some think those means extreme? Perhaps, but you didn't live the life I lived, and you wouldn't know what it was like. So, yes, ultimately, I'm not saying it's just about being non-ambitious. I'm saying I'm not someone who simply lives for luxury. That makes any sort of sense. Anything from the chat we need to be aware of, or are we good to keep going here?
No, apparently we're just telling good campfire stories.
Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm glad people are enjoying.
Because we have a few people watching, but they're all just watching and enjoying the show, I guess.
So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the individual tiles we're playing. It's going to take me a moment, so there's that one.
Time for a commercial break.
And this one.
Have you heard of Vector, Attack of the Meta Pirates?
Yes. What was perhaps the most subtle plug in history occurred somewhere in the Vector conversation.
Oh, right.
It was a wonderful shameless plug for an upcoming adventure.
That doesn't even have an actual finalized name at this point.
Yes, but one of the names that's been workshopped is what is it? The best summer ever.
Best summer ever. Yes.
Yeah, and Vector Best Summer Ever is an amazing story where your characters are affected by an adverse amount of nostalgia and end up at a summer camp that they never had gone to and are forced to be children again. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm basically
amazing.
In my head, that showed up as like if they were still making Nightmare on Elm Streets or whatever, and it was like Freddy's Best Summer Ever, and so there was that. But then it was also basically like the summer camp scenes from Addams Family Values. Like,
I mean,
well, certainly, I tried to make sure that the option of just burning the camp down while holding hands with a special someone.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Just burn it all down. You must pay for the crimes of your fathers.
If you haven't seen that, if you haven't seen Addams Family Values, do yourself a favor, go ahead and watch it. We're going even spookier. So, are these answers to your liking? We have the individual tiles, and if they land face up, they're happy, and if it's face down, they're not. Okay, face up, face up. We're doing good. And mine was the only one to land face down. And land on the floor, which makes it super extra convenient. So, okay, now that I've adjusted, it is my job to now turn these all face down, draw a tile, answer the question, and repeat the process until this spirit is satisfied with my particular
Are the characters permitted to ask questions? Because
well, it seems like that's been opened up, so yes, if you'd like to ask questions of Carter Wainwright.
What are you running from? You seem desperate to get out of whatever life it was you had before this. And I want to know what life could be so bad that you would choose to build wagons.
Well, sort of a long, hard Scrabble existence. Parents died. I was adopted by an aunt. It's kind of considered a nuisance for the most part because they already had several children of their own, but they took me in for the time being. So I did a lot of just sort of running around the streets and looking for odd jobs to do. And it was kind of one job after another, one shit job after another, one literal shit job, one literal job of just mucking out stables and trying to sort of find something I could do, make some ends meet. I'd been doing several different things when I finally met Carter Wainwright. They had left home at some point, and they had had kind of a big fight with their family right before it. They were very, very young, but they were being apprenticed, and it was sort of one of those they needed to be. I mean, they were only like 10, and they were telling me they had problems just being around their parents. They couldn't take them. So I expected problems right out the gate, but I had no parents. So, in a certain sense, I was like, well, could be worse, and there was a definite lot of arguing between the two of us. And so, I think meeting up at that time. He was apprenticing to do coopering, making barrels. Apparently, there was some good crossover skills there from wood. Anyhow, so because I was getting to be friends with them, I started being allowed to apprentice with them, and that started to fall through. And so at some point, a letter from the parents came through saying, please get back to doing wainwriting, get to card making. He still wasn't willing to go home, and they coming home. I think perhaps in their minds that the Wainwright of where I'd come from, insert other shire here, perhaps a larger town. I think they thought that perhaps he might be able to squeeze some extra secrets out of this particular Wainwright, sort of get to where they could really do the trade, get a little bit of that guild inner, their wagons were just that much better and they could make a little more money out of it. And then it was just strange luck at some point and bad luck that they became very ill. And they had decided when they started becoming very ill, I need to go home to see my parents. And I decided that I would come with them because, well, we were friends, and they didn't the trip. And I'm not sure entirely what it was that possessed me to do. Because part of me said that I can't make this trip only to bring home his body. The parents said he didn't even really seem to get along with love. It was hard to say. It didn't seem like love.
She didn't even really appreciate them, it seemed like.
Well, there's that too. And so I tried to figure out what can I do, because as it was, irony of ironies, make wagons, yes. Brought wagon, no. So I
So you were just walking on foot to go back?
I
yes,
mean,
to go work on the wagons.
Alright.
It was sort of a spur of the moment thing, since they kind of suddenly got ill. We hadn't really had time to gather supplies and things, and we weren't quite so well moneyed that we could just, buy the things we'd needed to travel. We could have perhaps gotten some passage with someone, but just hadn't found it. So, well, seeing as it was, I dug a shallow grave and, well, said some final words, though I'm no priest. And I just wasn't 100% sure what I should do. It's not as if I'd killed them. They just died of their illness. But, I was already halfway there. So, yeah, might as well go the rest of the way. I mean, I at least owe them the bad news. And when I came in, the first thing they did was they assumed that I was Carter. Right out the gate. And I got wrapped up in some great big arms. Talked about how tall I'd gotten. How I looked to be of good health.
He hadn't told them that he was sick?
Well, sending messages and things. He'd gotten ill rather suddenly, and, it was around the time when he was pretty sure he was going to go that he was back. I mean, they weren't very close in that way.
That's fair.
So, It was, at least at first. At first, I thought, hey, maybe I should just correct them, but they were so nice, and I knew I needed to do it as soon as possible, or otherwise I was going to come off as an utter cad. It was going to be a problem. And well, certainly the level of awkwardness was there at first, but then it was just the fact there was a warmth there. I don't understand what problems had occurred with them before. I don't know what they were, because I've never seen that ugliness from them.
Well, people do change, but also people see the world differently than other people.
I mean, I don't know.
One way or the other. Sorry, keep going.
I was saying, I went with it for a few minutes, and then a few hours, and woke up there the next morning, thought about running, didn't, just went and did the work alongside them, ate the food, spent the time, didn't talk a lot, just quiet. And then, well, it went on like that long enough, and eventually, was kind of too late to stop. So I just kept doing it. And, yeah.
How long has it been?
Whew, about 5 years now.
That's dedication.
Dedication is a word, but I mean, it's just been more comfortable. You know, Carter never had to, sleep on the streets. There was a warm place near the fire. That was a lot easier.
Something was always missing, and you found it. I can understand.
Found it or stole it. Hard to say. All right. I'm going to now ask, are these answers to your liking? Yes. Okay.
Just wanted the confession.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that must have been it. Confess your sins. It's a strange tale of stolen identities and extraness.
It's interesting because I'm almost on one hand like, wow, I feel kind of sorry for Carter. Like, his own parents didn't even remember what he looked like, apparently. But I'm also like, on the other hand, I'm like, well, the parents got to have a fresh start and renewed relationship with their quote-unquote son. And, you got to have the life that you always wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a weird story. I don't know what's going on there, honestly. Like, I don't know if they have, like, weird difficulties processing, or had once been really terrible and suddenly felt immense guilt. I don't know. I'm not sure how.
See, I was
all
half
pieces together.
I was half like, oh, this person absolutely just killed Carter in cold blood and stole their life, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. I guess
I'd considered it. Trust me, that was on the table until I realized that Carter Wainwright had just kind of lucked into it. Kind of just kept going with it.
Carter Wainwright.
So after all that talking, I think that now that we're moving on to the descent, is there anything interesting in the chat?
Nope.
All right,
We've
excellent.
Still got a bunch of people. We got 4 people watching, and
all right,
everybody's just hanging out.
That's fine.
On the edge of their seats.
So, in this next section, the descent, The road to becoming a real character requires a story. Here you will test each spirit and collect the dues owed to them as well. So, when it's your turn to tell the story, say the following. I am the spirit of tile name here. I tell the story of character name here. And we will begin flipping over tiles until either hitting the Reaper, which is where you end in death, the nice restaurant, ending in survival, the piece that matches your spirit, which ends in any fashion you like, or all 17 tiles have been revealed. Now, there is like a candy thing where usually you make offerings to the spirits in this portion. We don't have that because I cannot pass it through the internet all the way to somebody on the other side, so there will be a candy dish and offering, but that will be here at home.
I brought my own candy down here.
Did you?
Yes.
I am jealous because now I just want to eat candy.
I've also been eating out of the bowl of candy.
So, who shall we hear the tale of first? Shall it be the prince beneath the stone, or the tale? Or are we going to try and see if we can weave a tale together? We'd be going into uncharted territory because, well, I haven't done that yet. It is an option, but it's a different mode of play. So
well, because the last time we played this, we flipped over one tile. Didn't we do one tile at a time? Or no, we didn't.
You do one tile at a time as one person tells the story of their spirit. The other option is that we can do the kind of quote-unquote haunted house style play where we are facing things together and we kind of talk our way through how things go.
I think it might be actually kind of interesting if people feel up to it, since we are apparently all sitting in a tavern together, if we then had to do something together.
So are we going to do... So here is my thinking. I think we should draw 3 tiles.
All right.
And those tiles are going to be the story of how we meet each other. Because, let's face it, we are probably all sort of worlds apart in a way. And that's okay. I am comfortable with the fact of we've all lived very different lives. And our meeting is going to be very interesting, to say the least. Do you both agree to this method?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Sure.
All right, so
experiments.
So I am the spirit of the worm. I tell you the story of Carter Wainwright. Everybody else, please do yours.
I am the spirit of the snake. I tell you the story of Wagner Bloodaxe.
I am the spirit of the butterfly. I tell you the story of the prince beneath the stone.
I am the spirit of the errata. I tell you the story of 3. So, oh no. Okay.
Did we all die
This is
immediately?
the 3. No, we don't. But I am paying attention. And I'm trying my best to see what's happening here. So how we meet. The first event from the first tile is the worm. The artifact, an old, powerful, and dangerous object, is found. Now, let's be honest.
It could.
It could
It could be the tiles.
It could be
It
the
could
tiles.
be the tiles.
I like the tiles. And it could be that each of us found these tiles somewhere, perhaps in a small bag, buried somewhere. I found them in, basically found them in a field, just tripped over them.
I'm just imagining, Wagner, like, cutting open the belly of an animal and these tiles spilling out. Like, wait, what?
That's some pretty intensely metal and mythical stuff going on there. I could believe that.
Oh, and the prince probably traded, I don't know, a couple of fairies to some witch for the umpteenth time, trying to get some new thing to shake him out of his ennui, or whatever other things such beings as him do.
Mm.
Got it from a witch somehow.
Yes.
It's the blunder
So, here's the thing. Almost as soon as we had these tiles, we lost them, because the next is the fancy hat. Pirated, you lose something valuable. Now, there is somebody we've all met who we could blame.
There is.
And I did have what is the phrase? The oddest sense of deja vu.
A terrible sense of deja vu.
Deja vu. Looking at him.
Yes, you did. Ooh. And the next thing being the UFO. Where are we? You arrive in a new setting, somehow more terrifying than where you were. So, is it possible we all found these? And then we all were kidnapped aboard the X-Corona, Vector's ship. They took our tiles. And now we're somewhere else.
I mean, that would explain why 3 people... I feel like we have some, like, amnesia around this.
I mean, yeah. It's
because for whatever reason, we aren't really questioning why we're together.
Right.
Well, so when we say tavern, we just really mean the mess.
I feel like we took over the study.
Yeah. I'm saying, yeah.
Smaller, more intimate. You can steal all the booze that's there. I mean,
exactly.
Borrow all the booze that's there. There's usually some hidden somewhere there.
Brandy.
I know I'm giving away secrets. Cognac. I don't care.
If he didn't want us giving away secrets, he shouldn't have
Shouldn't have been in the game. No, I'm just kidding. This is your game.
Oh god.
He checked in on us once, and then wandered off. It's all his fault.
Can I just say, I think it's really funny that I was like, oh, this is kind of sad. Vector hasn't been in the game yet, and literally the next tile was Vector.
Yeah, that's
how they roll.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Good stuff.
So
so here we are.
Are we ready to? So do we want to start off in like the brig, or do we feel like we just woke up somewhere on the ship? Or I could turn a tile and see what it kind of suggests.
So, well, we could probably do that. The thing I have in my head is like, probably one of us was in the brig, one of us was somewhere else, and somebody started a commotion with Vector. Like, excuse me, where are my tiles?
Right. So, in this particular case, the first thing I've drawn, that we've drawn, to be fair, is the fast rabbit with adrenaline surge. Your heart race is leading to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn reactions. Now, I know for me, obviously, when I was met with an awkward situation, I just sort of froze up and acted like everything was normal.
I would very obviously just rage at it.
Right, so I'm probably just kind of chilling out. I guess you're probably killing out, and I have no idea. What exactly would the
I'm trying to find a rhyme that involves the word phrase skedaddle.
I feel like battle rhymes with skedaddle very well.
Oh yeah. So chilling out, killing out. But after the battle, there came a skedaddle.
Hmm?
You're trying to sneak out.
My response would have been more a flight.
Literal flight, okay.
Well, I mean, maybe not
Maybe not
jumping off and flying away, but just booking it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some chaos going on. We haven't really gotten to meet each other or know each other yet.
The only thing you know about me is I yell a lot and have a very
Scary.
very big axe.
So, the next thing we got here is the maze. You find yourself lost amid seemingly countless corridors, twists, and turns, which is perfect because that. Right. So, running, you can literally run forever because some of the
just that big.
floors repeat.
That's a good point.
Wow. So, I could see us all sort of, while trying to make our way through. I think I probably took it calm because I don't think I could. Fighting seems exhausting and I would lose. Running seems too likely to attract attention, so I just very calmly walk everywhere. But, that being said, it's possible we all Scooby-Dooed our way into each other.
Very likely.
Yeah, I could see that. So what I'm imagining is Wagner just being like, I guess trying to chase after somebody for answers and then getting lost in the corridors and like running around like fuming.
Seems likely. A good place to get lost would probably be the hold of the ship. It's very big. It's very, very big. So
it might even turn into, well, if you won't tell me where they are, I'll go find them myself.
Yep. And then, I'm pretty sure that if I had a sword pointed at me, or when I get the sword pointed at me, I'm going to say, I'm not with them, I was kidnapped, I found these tiles, and then, which would probably explain a very similar situation, which only takes a passing prince to possibly overhear, and suddenly we're all in the same situation.
Wait, you have the tiles? Yeah.
I don't have the tiles. They took them.
They took the tiles?
They took the tiles.
Wait, how
do you still have your tiles?
How do you all have tiles?
I found them in a field.
I paid for them.
Mine came out of the gut of an animal. A deer, to be specific. Not entirely sure why a deer would eat those, but
it wasn't a witch deer, was it?
I don't believe so. They're hard to tell the difference, to be fair.
Point. But none of you have them now.
No. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I have a vague feeling I know whose fault this is.
Well, you have a name, or?
If I'm wrong, I'd rather not say it out loud. Because then they'll just want the attention anyway.
Okay.
Well, should we then just, I don't know, this is probably how we get to the study, is maybe we should just try to figure out a plan.
So, the next tile. The next tile, now that we've found each other.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Because, remember, these are scary stories to become in the dark. The next one is the Hungry Frog. Something, a hunger for the living, something no longer alive stalks you in order to take something that only the living possess. So,
Well, it's not all good things on the ship.
it's going to be a mummy.
Is it Onexu Cinnamon or whatever her name is?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think of what kind of undead would be there. It could be an undead pirate. They could all go undead pirate if we ended up in a horror setting together.
That's fair. Vampire pirates.
Vampirates?
Vampires don't know.
It's canon. Why'd I say it? Now it's canon. Fine. On a ship full of vampirates.
Shoot it out the starboard bow. I don't know.
Why? Why am I here? This sucks. I don't even.
Because apparently,
listen.
we
If
found
I
the
was
tiles.
it, I am a Wainwright. I can make wheels. If I were a farmer, I'd have a chance at having a pitchfork. I have nothing.
Why don't you have a hammer?
I mean, I don't always carry a hammer with me. I'm not always making wheel.
And isn't a wooden spoke basically a stake?
You know, you do have a point on that. So...
And to be fair,
you
you're
have a point.
Oh, yeah, that's very clever. How droll.
I'm sorry.
And admittedly, your image of the farmer as always having the pitchfork on them is...
I know. Listen, that's just... I feel like I found something in a field. If I was a farmer, I'd have a chance of having something with me. In this particular case, I just kind of went, oh, what's that? Uh-oh. And now I'm like, so what do you have? I got clothes and maybe whatever kind of tool I might carry on me.
Some iron nails. I don't know.
I mean, you know... I might have a hammer and some iron nails. It's possible.
Careful with those.
What the? I don't think I'm gonna run up and rake their eyes out with them. That's not even beginning to be my way of doing things.
Fair enough.
So let's. What do we want to do about this? Because they look like they're kind of everywhere, and they are terrifying looking.
Well. They don't know where, in theory, if I'm doing this right, they don't know where we are right now.
I draw the next tile.
Go for it.
Sure.
The next tile is Chomper, a test of courage. The only way to proceed is to face their greatest fear. Oh no! Oh no! Not my greatest fear.
What is your greatest fear?
Exposure.
Oh, right.
Found out. My whole life falling apart. But I can only imagine that that's most likely some sort of weird psychological effect of vampire hypnosis, because that makes the most sense to me.
Well, yes.
So, yeah, I'm probably like going, oh god, just screaming. It's all over.
Yeah, I'm starting to think there's like a group hypnosis or something that happens.
Probably.
Because I'm thinking that, like, biggest fear is probably either losing or my weapon breaking, because it's something I rely so heavily on. So I'm now I am seeing just this sheer terror happen when Wagner's axe just like splits in two unexpectedly.
And what of the
Oh no, he's collapsing to tears as there's just all sorts of beautiful people are saying.
That seems somehow appropriate. I don't understand it. You wouldn't. You're only 20 years old. I'm infinitely told beyond your comprehension and also strange. All right. I turned another tile. The tile is the Reaper. Now, if we don't want this tale to end in us all dying, we can keep going. In this case, what it means is that we see we encounter a corpse, skeleton, or other remain.
So what is it we find?
I mean, for me, the most effective thing I could see would be Carter Wainwright, the original.
Oh, as one of the
possibly reanimated remain.
Is that particular? Is that the vampire that just used the hypnosis effect?
You spoke it into existence, and now it is the truth. Yes.
You said shallow grave.
God damn it.
Also that you are not a priest.
You about to do me Wayne wrong. Yeah, we can't be done, because we've got to get to the place where we're having our storytelling session. Oh, no.
Oh yeah, and you said, well, how can you be dead? You're telling the story. Well, who made you so smart, or however that goes?
Yeah. So, is that good enough for that? Do we want to hit some other point here?
Unless you want me to turn that vampire into a corpse, because
I mean, you totally can. Cause
just my thought with
your Wagner blood axe. I mean,
exactly.
I might not be any chance against a vampiric original Carter Wainwright. You, on the other hand, might murder them as an afterthought, looking for your shoe or something. Like,
well, so what happens is Wagner is in a fury because his axe is broken, and that's like his one treasured possession is his axe. And in his fury, he just throws the hilt at this thing that you're freaking out about, and it just happens to cut them in half. And that's when the illusion breaks, and you realize that none of what we were seeing is actually happening.
It wasn't an axe hilt. It was the entire axe going right through.
Okay.
Oh dear.
And of course, you just saw your friend die a second time.
Oh god! Wait, it really is him too, huh?
Yeah,
I was just thinking, even with the illusion, like it would still look like your best friend got cleaved in two.
That's true. It was just random fact, but either way.
Josie just popped in the chat and said, "It just happens to cut him in half."
It just happens to cut him in half.
It is a very D&D sentence.
I thought they were just gonna get staked by it, but it's like, wow, they're really strong. Oh my gosh. Nope, they're scary strong. They're anime strong. I am not even knowing what to do with this. I'm walking with like a living myth and another living myth.
I'm imagining it is just the hilt. And
do you like a barrel?
It hits the person just so that it literally, it's like a laser beam that just cuts through. It's the Resident Evil scene, but with a axe handle.
God. So, all right, we've managed to take them out. What is our next move? Like, I'll go ahead and pull a tile, but I feel like we need some thoughts, some strategy on where we go.
Before we get into that, Josie just popped into the chat and said, "Would that be rolling a nat 1 or a nat 20? Just the hilt is the new just the tip?"
Oh my god. What's the hilt?
Just the hilt. Okay. So ideas. Well, we're probably like, well, fuck. We're somewhere we don't know where we are.
So if the tiles brought us here, maybe they could bring us back. So if we could find them, maybe we could get out of here.
Makes sense.
And then we go to the study and get distracted by booze and tell each other our stories. No.
Well, I mean, potentially.
Well, no, actually, we had found the tiles, yeah, so...
And maybe that ends up being our effort to try and get back to home by telling our stories to these things, because that's what the instructions sort of told us to do.
Exactly.
So let's see. Is there something that happens? So are we going to start from there? I'm feeling a yes. So we are now starting from where we were all just telling and figuring out our original stories.
Well, wait,
And
how
then-
did we find the tiles, though?
Well, what I'm assuming happened was, I'm going to actually flip a tile for this. I got the butterfly. An unsettling transformation has occurred, one that warps your very flesh. Oh gosh. Oh, I know. I know what happens.
Oh man. Please be better than my idea.
The tiles appear tattooed on us in our flesh because, well, they're the spirits that we're channeling, and they're in many ways the core of what we are. So,
yeah, that's a much
in
better
a sudden
idea
moment, we just suddenly find out that, yeah, oh gosh, those spirits are inside us. They might even be us.
We were the tiles all along.
So we have to find the tiles because, well, either we separate from them to become our own being, or we're going to end up back in the bag. Either way, we can't just stay here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys good with another tile?
Yes.
Yuns?
This is getting way too meta, though, I'm just saying.
We decided to go on the ship that's ran by a meta pirate.
I know.
So, then we see the mirror. Oh no, not the mirror.
Oh no.
Wait, there's no good answers.
See
There are
yourself
no
in the
good
mirror.
answers.
Strange and terrifying visions of who you are, who you were meant to be. So, Carter Wainwright's staring when they find the mirror, which I assume actually we get to the study and there happens to be a mirror in it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Looking into that mirror, what happens is that, well, then Carter sees that there's people somewhere playing a game, and then sees the tiles. It's just like, oh good, the tiles. Oh wait, no, they're just talking about us like we're not even real, like we're just stories. And there being a whole sudden realization of, I'm a fake of a fake of a fake of a fake kind of thing.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh god, I'm like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. What and who am I? I'm nothing. I'm not even, I don't even have a name beyond Carter Wainwright. And I'm not even them. And even they aren't even them. They aren't anything. And then I sit on the couch and just stare in horror. How about you two?
Sorry. I'm like, what do I see?
Am I going for it? Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. So the prince sees the two kids that helped him all those time ago. And he sees the witches they made. So this is the point where he realizes that what the boy wished for. It wasn't to be a loyal servant. It was to live the prince's life. The loyal servant is actually the prince himself, who has just been playing out this millennia-long fun thing of letting the boy think he's the prince. Whether or not that whole true love thing, real to the prince, or real to the boy, or just the prince fucking with the boy, pardon stream,
I'm pretty sure we're marked as mature, so you're fine with swearing.
Oh, okay. That will all leave to the side for now. As could go either way. But suddenly realizes that about himself. But then he sees what the daughter wished for. She kept her. She didn't use it all through childhood. Grew up, married, had a family, but things were tough. Had trouble relating to her son, and then one day after he'd gone off to apprenticeship, she wished, idly, I wish I had a son I was proud of.
Oof.
Unless that's too much.
I mean, that seems awfully specific.
Did she get her wish? Is the question.
Are we saying?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You
got a wish, and I am the wish. My brain, me. Ooh, well, okay, cool. We've tied that together. Bravo, the strands. They are there. My mortal mind is mostly shattered, but that'll be great to hear later. So, how about was it? Oh, Wagner Bloodaxe.
Just as a quick chime in, Josie says, Wishception?
Wishception. It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff.
So,
wishes are hard.
Since we're still seeing the mirror thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know I don't know how this works.
You could skip it. Do you want to skip it for Wagner?
So I'll tell you my thought, or what.
Mm-hmm.
He looks into the mirror, and he sees his children that he did not realize he had. He had a family that he has completely forgotten about, because the person who took away all of his memories was the prince, but not the prince, because it was the boy fucking with him. So now he's mad, but he doesn't know who to be mad at.
I mean,
okay.
I did specify that whole got captured and escaped thing was, well, mother had organized a hunt, so
yeah,
it was out there. Dear.
Okay. Are we ready for the next tile?
Yes. Please.
The next tile is the claw.
Does our brains start to melt?
The claw. Lethargy. A wound, curse, or other source of harm has sapped you of your energy, sleep, collapse, or conscious imminent. I'm there.
Yeah, I think we're all
I'm about ready to pass out in this room.
Existential despair.
Yeah, we've all hit peak. What the fuck? So yeah, that's when I walk over and grab the bottle of hidden brandy, and I'm just like, fuck it, let's drink.
Yep. No, that sounds good. It sounds great. I am all for the drinking.
That's a good idea. And somewhere, which means somewhere in the drinking, somewhere while pouring over this place to find hidden alcohol. Feels like that just means by accident. Just sitting there.
Or,
in the bag that says Crown Royal.
Uh-huh.
It's actually
in proper fashion.
Yeah. Go ahead, say it.
Yeah, it's the tiles.
It's the tiles.
Cool. Are we good with the turning thing over?
Yep.
Next one is the elk. A sinful encounter. Some terrible temptation appears to lead you astray.
Let's play the game.
That's it. We're gonna play the game.
Yep.
Did we also find the instructions, like the book?
Yeah.
Like the scary stories to become in the dark?
Apparently that's actually what we found, I suppose.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If we three play this game, If I've read this right, it means all three of us, sometime at night, could become somebody else, but it would trap our other selves somewhere. Kind of scary. But maybe instead, we could trick somebody into becoming us, and we could be somewhere entirely new.
So what you're saying is, right now, we're, along with all the other baggage, we're just those spirits who get banished at the end of it. But in theory, we could worm our way out.
Possible. You both have a much better chance than me. I don't see anyone ever really wanting to be me so badly they're willing to set aside their life to let me out to do something, unless they really need some wheels.
So I'm just going to mention to you. You did that exact same thing. You didn't want your life so much that you completely swapped places with another person. There will be somebody who wants that from you.
Huh. Good point. Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's keep playing.
It's our only chance of getting out of here at this point.
The only way out is through.
Yeah.
Fishing hook, psychological horror. The atmosphere has begun to make you question your sanity. We're already past that.
Yeah.
Move on, Tiles.
Now replay this entire game.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that's right.
What was that?
That's true.
What was the movie that we just watched? In the Mouth of Madness. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one. Very nice
there.
one.
Yeah.
So yes, this is the
Singing Orb the Curse. You become aware of a dire prophecy, portent, or warning.
We read the instructions.
Warning! Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, the document you're reading is not a holiday adventure. Chris, upon playing this, you may never be the same.
Dun, dun, dun.
You've been warned.
Well, I'm pretty sure at this point none of us would prefer to go back to what we were.
I don't think so. I think I have an idea. I have the solution. Hold on. I think I need to do a little more reading first. I think one of these books has the solution for us. I'm going to flip a tile. Is that okay?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
The mask.
Uh-oh.
You see someone killed and maybe next. Who died? There's only the three of us in the room. Is it one of us? No. Nope, somebody else. That's weird. Does one of the pirates make it in here and we just got him?
That seems too simple.
Does seem too simple. Is it that we have to kill the vector in the room that's listening? And watching?
Have you been here this whole time?
I'm not.
I know.
You're not getting that.
I know.
It doesn't seem like enough bait. Alright, let's just all walk away. Act like nothing's happening. I don't think act like no one's paying attention.
So just a thought.
Yeah.
By us playing this game, is this us sacrificing ourselves?
It's a thought. It is a thought that in some ways, here's my thinking. Each of us came from a very, very circuitous, screwed up background. And none of us really got to choose who we were because we were half written, We were rewritten. We had our pasts mangled, taken away from us, or given to us, or whatever else. Found it. Found the tile. What if we let our old selves die? What if that's the death? Because I just pulled out the nice restaurant, and I saw a way out a while ago, but I think now I can open up the book.
So
My proposal: we should all become meta pirates. We're here. We could join that crew. We never have to look back.
So what you're saying is, Carter Wainwright, the Prince Beneath the Stone, and Wagner Bloodaxe all cease to exist, and instead there's 3 new ensigns on the ship.
I mean, it's fine. It's a ship. I'm sure they need carts. I mean, I could flip over one more tile, but...
This does seem right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we got suckered?
I mean... Yeah,
Isn't that the point, though?
Is there a, I find myself thinking about the verb shanghaied and... Pressed. It's called pressed.
I was about to say, I'm really impressed.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you. I do believe that's what just happened. So,
But, yeah, I haven't been counting tiles, so I don't know what the last one is, but I almost want to just...
there's one
Isn't
left.
that the extra life?
No, that was the mirror.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was the mirror? Okay.
We very, very clearly...
I don't remember which one it is that we've got left. Like, I'm looking now, and I don't remember, but...
Did we get the fancy hat yet?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was right at the
We got
beginning.
that very
That's what I
early
thought.
on.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So... on the... I think I know the one it is.
Well,
God.
we can't
Are
not
you ready for
at
it?
this point. At this
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
do it.
It's the mine, the traitor among us. One among you is not who they appear to be.
There's one imposter. So Carter Wainwright is actually Vector?
Or the Prince or Wagner.
Or all of us?
I can't stop laughing. This is so... I'm gonna have coherent words.
So
Maybe.
You can word goodly.
Come. But I mean, really, though. Really. Like, you think about it a little bit. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that, like, well, if I was going to hide, I talked about it before, you know, how I might just pop in, be someone close to the action. I mean, you all were rather attentive to Carter Wainwright, who really, I mean, their name was basically Wayne Wayne, or Carter Carts. I mean,
it is
I'm
the
not
perfect.
saying I planned it this way. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes things just work out.
It is that perfect juxtaposition of, you know, your desire to hide in the most inconspicuous NPCE of NPCs possible, but also to be as noticeable as possible.
I just make cards.
Didn't you just...
But I have a mysterious backstory.
Oh, yes. It's not, listen, it's not like I knew. I didn't know until...
That's a flat out lie.
Fair enough.
Okay, but they didn't know, and you didn't know. That's enough not knowing.
Yes, that's enough.
I suppose so.
Come on now. Now, you've already... From the level of pure psychological horror, the idea of going through all of this, being led in this loop, and then joining together at the end to overcome a threat who really was just recruiting you all along.
Though that does make me wonder if that means that we took over the lives of some of the meta pirates, or if we just became meta pirates.
You know, this
might have just learned hidden backstories.
I mean, when it comes down to being a creature made of fiction, we are the stories that are told, and so perhaps I'm Carter Wainwright, or perhaps Carter Wainwright is just a very useful vehicle to have something like this happen. I mean,
to get the wheels moving.
Let me be perfectly honest. If it had been one of you, do you think you could be speaking for me quite as meefully? Really? It's possible. I mean, it's entirely possible that you could be just, spouting about and, voice change, inflections altered and such. And I am sure I will, of course, exit out once again, but I am so glad to have been able to show up as many times as I did in the game. Now, what a lot of you missed, what was amazing from last time, is I got to speak to myself.
Fascinating.
Oh, come on now. I mean, you could if you wanted to. If you really want. I mean, that means sort of that I could if I wanted to. And the question is, do I?
Look, are you suggesting that this entire thing was more of not so much a story of recruitment as a recruitment video for someone else? That you and I would jump in and out of these characters just to show off the ship?
I mean,
why not?
No, this isn't all about like giving a tour of the ship. I mean, anybody who's listened, of course, could be tuned into getting a tour of the ship. But I mean, it's not absolutely necessary. Dear listeners, I am sorry. I've probably lost a lot of you at this point. For those who don't know what's going on, hello, my name is Vector, and yes, I take over characters sometimes people who can be characters themselves, and I'm going to let go very soon so that they can end this incredible game, but to be fair, there is a step yet not taken. I found it a very riveting tale. I think that it ended well, but we have to ask, is this tale sufficiently spooky? I would say that the audience opinion is almost as enough, but I'm going to take at least one time. And I think it's appropriate we start with the tile that, well, had already sort of started things. I would say it'd be the wonders of the fancy hat, but that's just sheer ego on my part. No, I'm going to say the worm. Godspeed to you, powerful artifact, O Errata, who has made this tale possible, and I also say that to Carter Wainwright, who's also represented the worm. The worm's been pulling its weight today. So, is this tale sufficiently spooky? And it is, and we are good.
That seems about right, honestly.
I'm going to take my exit. I apologize if I've taken up a little too much time and attention, but it was far too good for me not to. So,
there's a small part of me that wants to say something, but I'm not sure that I want to risk it.
Oh, we've been fairly mindlessly self-indulgent. It should be okay.
Come on, Bagma. Sure you have something to say.
No, I'm not going to. I'm going to think better of that.
Fair enough.
Bold, the reckless adventurers.
Let's just say it was flattery, but possibly a little too indulgent flattery. As they say, never
Fine
say
with
never.
So, now that this portion of the game is gone, I do not believe that I should be doing any of this sending portion. It doesn't feel like it's place. You three are the ones who suffered through and did this remarkable bit of storytelling. Thank you so very much for inviting me, or really not really inviting me, just allowing a good place for me to be.
I mean, it is your game.
Well, it is scary stories to become in the dark, and that is a very Vector Halloween adventure. This one has just been a little more Vector than a few of the others. Anyhow, so I'm going to go. Hope I'll see you next time. You might have a terrible sense of deja vu.
Well, that was fun.
That was exhausting.
That was hilarious.
I'm very glad that I recorded this one on multiple platforms.
Okay, so when your game doesn't end in long-term possession,
is it really a game if it doesn't end in long-term possession?
So I said double spooky warning. I didn't want.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I was going to say, not the thing that I censored myself from saying, was we're always all a little bit of our characters, and our characters are always a little bit Vector.
Huh.
Just a nice little mindfuck for you right there.
Yeah, that is pretty mindfuck. Well, I mean, Vector is not only the character, it's also the game, and since this is a Vector game, therefore we are kind of in it. Yeah.
We're playing inside Vector
sending.
Right now? Ew. No,
it's gonna do it.
Yes.
Do it. Let's
Assumption, let's go.
Come on, we got to get out of here. We got other things to do tonight.
My brain is mush.
So, fare thee well, O tales told true. May your stories be remembered and your tales be retold. We ask that you banish the half-formed shades of Halloween past to darken our door no more. We give you this bowl of candy that you might have the strength to quell them. We give you this candy to depart in peace. Fare thee well, O tales told true. All right. So that was a version of the haunted house variant where we all work as a group in a story, which can be a haunted house. In this case,
that was
something different.
It was a ghost ship.
Yeah, that was something.
That got really twisty.
Yeah. So to finish this out, final note from Captain Vector. Thanks much for playing with my little siblings, the errata. They're in fact rather excited to see print. I'd also like to thank you for banishing a few shades and bringing a few others to fruition. For your troubles, I'd like to leave you with a little token of my appreciation. Nobody played along this time, so there's no really reason to hand out the token, because it won't do anything. And then the last note of the game is Happy Halloween from Vector, Mother Multiverse, and the Spirits of the Errata.
And the Sanctuary for Wayward Geeks.
Yeah, and the Sanctuary for Wayward Geeks. Is there any last notes on the chat we need to read?
Not that I see, though. I do want to bring up, if we don't see Wagner and Carter Wainwright and
the Prince beneath the stone in a
Vector adventure, I'm gonna be mad because they're officially meta pirates now.
That is true. It's even been witnessed by other people.
Wagner is obviously the cook at this point, so he knows how to butcher an animal.
Yeah,
he's a cook.
Fair.
That's true.
He needed a change. He took over the cook's life.
And I'm sure that, it's quick. It's not a quick jump, but I mean, they got time. Carter can go from Wainwright to Shipwright. That's fine.
So, Kino says thank you. And Josie says meta vampirates.
Meta vampirates. Jesus.
Oof.
Hmm.
Well, and yeah, I'm very happy so many people stuck with us for the whole thing.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. I want to shamelessly plug. Sorry, I've been spending a lot of time writing. So, Scary Stories is one game I wrote, and I think this is another game that maybe at some point we could play. The newest game I've made, called In Pursuit of the Mask, is a game where it simulates a murder podcast where callers call in to some hosts, and so it plays kind of like almost like an episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Oh my god, yes.
where you're getting some information.
So
and
theory 4 is always aliens.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. But it's about like slasher movie style killing sprees, and the witnesses call in. Some of them are telling the truth, and some of them are lying, and the hosts have to try to sort it out. And depending on how that all turns out by the end, will affect how the inevitable sequel goes when that goes. So it's a pretty different, fun format. But I mean, obviously, it might be a blast to do on something like this, since it's simulating a podcast, and essentially what we're doing right now is very similar on that one. Okay, that's my shameless plug. It's done now.
Yay.
I'm gonna say thank you also to Kino for following the channel. Yeah, so we have a new follower.
Cool.
Yay!
Also, fun thing, we also earned the achievement Who Watches the Watchers, and
Oh my gosh, what does that mean?
is thy bidding? I don't actually know. Let me look.
Who watches the Watchers?
I just
don't
thought it was
know.
appropriate.
It does feel kind of appropriate with how
So
it was twisty.
So what is thy bidding has reached 10 followers, and Who Watches the Watchers has reached 3 average viewers in the last 30 days. Which we had we had about 5 viewers the entire time, so it wasn't only until the end that we had people drop off. Also, because I realized we did most of we actually got Who Watches the Watchers on the 23rd, along with a whole bunch of other things, because that was our first stream. Like clockwork, We Belong and Who Watches the Watchers were all on the 23rd, which is Vector's favorite number. So, let's just get twisty. Whatever.
Yeah. So, thanks everybody for listening. So, from all of us at the, Sanctuary for Wayward Geeks, happy Halloween. We'll catch you with whatever other thing we do.
I will mention too, we do have a YouTube channel that this has been live streamed on, so it will be saved on there. And if for whatever reason we need to upload a recording of this somewhere else, we also have that. So, because I figured out how to do all this stuff. Yay.
Yes.
So, cool. We're going to have to do this more often. You know what we should do, if people agree to it, we should totally play our My Hero game on here.
Oh, man.
That would be fun. We can see all the stupid shenanigans we get up to.
A lot of shenanigans with that game.
So maybe that'll be next week. Who knows? We'll see.
Possibly. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
No pressure. Mild
pressure.
Alright. So we calling it there then?
I think so. We've said bye a couple times, and I think we got all their business.
I think we got all the business now, so I think we're good.
It's a long goodbye.
Yeah,
it's a good goodbye.
It's a Midwest goodbye. This is how we are. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, folks, and awesome game. That was my brain hurts. So.
Yeah, mine does too.
All right.